Hi, my name is Jason Tarragano, and this is my creative critical reflection. So, The Executive is about a man who seeks revenge against a coworker, Alex, and he eventually succeeds. Alex was waiting to be picked up by his friends after he finished a very important business meeting when he gets stabbed in the back by the Avenger. The day after the murder, Alex's friends were mourning his death when the detective showed up. It just so happened that the detective was also the victim's brother, twin brother, I should say, and that he could no longer work the case due to his own personal conflicts. So here we have a couple of stills we took. On the left-hand side, both of the two left photos were me acting. However, one of them was the detective, one of them was Alex. Sorry. Um, the detective, we tried to fit the typical detective trope, the formality of the suit jacket and the long pants. Um, and then, the also the mustache was very typical of the classic detective. And then, it's got very neutral colors. Usually it's just to show that he means business and he's going to do his best to do what he's got to do. In the middle, that was also me, acting as Alex. The hairstyle was a little different. The mustache was obviously brown and not black, just to identify which one was which. And um, one of them was more casual. One of them also was just more formal. The blue collared polo shirt was also used to show his less formal attire. Um, it's business casual cargo pants and polo shirt. He's also the coloring of it is very neutral, but also the blue shows the innocence. And on the right hand side, we have Anthony, and he was the murderer. Most of the time you couldn't see his face. In this photo you could, but when we were filming, we had the hoodie over his face and then tightened up so you could barely see. He's used to show his shadiness. He's trying to hide his identity, as he is the murderer. Um, that's the typical trope: wearing dark clothing to blend in, and you know, especially at nighttime. Some more stills we have here, or when we were trying to get the setting. The left hand side, that's Josh over there. We tried to use him as like a reference. And you could see my arms on the very bottom of the picture, trying to take the photo because we were going to place the camera on the car. We pulled up the car and we kept pulling it up enough to where, it was a good enough long shot. Um, it ended up actually working pretty well, except for the road being a little off to the side, but it wasn't very noticeable. Um, it took a lot of times to keep moving the car and adjusting the camera, but we eventually figured it out. And on the right hand side, that was the part where he got murdered. This was when Anthony pulled up and stabbed him behind his back. Um, and this area, as you can see on the upper right hand corner of the building, he was or not he, the lighting was definitely very bright, and we had issues with the glare, but we tried to fix it. Another issue that we had, as you can see here, this is a screenshot I took on my phone on the first day of filming. As it got later in the day, we had a lot of storms and especially lightning storms, as you could see, um, which definitely hindered our ability to work. So we had to meet up a little earlier, as you can see up at the top left-hand corner. 6:35 is, pretty late, but we started working around 3, and yeah, So that way we can avoid the rain as much as possible. At that time around 3, it was definitely there was more spotty rain, and cloudy, but still not lightning, and on the left hand side here we have Anthony in the casual, neutral look, similar with Josh, except they're both innocents, showing innocence. The coloring. Let's see. And right here for the technical aspects, we had to borrow or loan a microphone for plugging in the camera. We also had an adapter from the microphone to the phone, so that way we can plug it in and use the audio. And it was also helpful that uh, the mesh screen for the windscreen, that definitely helped, especially with the clouds and the storms picking up the wind. Um, and the camera on the iPhone 14 was the one that we used. It definitely helped with the lower light, especially with the clouds, hindering the light. Um, and here is one of the inspirations that I got that I brought up to Anthony that we thought we should implement. Here, I'm going to show it to you. Right there, that was the part that I definitely, it, it influenced me a lot. I thought that was a great scene, um, especially with the music, the way it picks up. And in the film that we made, we tried to replicate that with the knife. We pan down. Obviously, in the Glass Onion movie, they had this lighting situation where they could just move the light as like the spotlight. Um, we just decided to use the light and then move it with our hand, and then just flash it on the light and then move it away. So that way it's kind of, you know, flashes it in discreet. And for the mustache, that was one of the most important distinguishing moments of it. The left hand side, that was me with the brown mustache. Right hand side was me with the black mustache. One of them was more innocent than the other. And I actually got it at a local store, Party City. It was about $3. Um, it took me a couple minutes to get over there. It was pretty easy. And I actually liked or got this idea from some of the older movies, one of them including The Tombstone of 1993. I really liked the movie. And this actor right here, he definitely shows his formality, and it definitely, even though, and they're all natural, so we are obviously too young, and so we didn't have a full grown mustache, but so we just had to improvise and get our own. It's not meant for comedic effect. It's just um, used to show the differences between them. And I actually had a little bit of fun with this. The day before we started filming, I tried to get into my role, and went into class. On the left hand side, that was my AP government class. Um, a couple of my friends. As you can see, I have a very serious face. On the right hand side, that was also in my history class. That was also very fun. And right here, this is the editing software that I used. It was Adobe Premiere Pro. It's very helpful, a lot of technical aspects of it. And as you can see up in the top middle, the blue area, there's a bunch of tutorials on everything. And especially on YouTube, if you look something up, you can get a quick 2-minute video of whatever you need. However, I was not used to this specific platform because the school district gave it to us a little later in the year. Um, and so for the most of the year, I was using DaVinci Resolve. It's not very similar. It's somewhat similar. Um, However, the format's a little different. Also, you know, Premiere Pro, some of the issues that I was having was a couple of errors that I would have when I was importing some music. Every time, not every time, but most of the time when I imported music, it would say that it was unable to open the file on disk, and obviously I did not know what that meant really, other than that it wasn't able to open, so I didn't know why. So I had a lot of troubleshooting to do. And as you can see, this is the editing timeline down on the bottom. Definitely uh, was much easier to use than Adobe or than DaVinci Resolve. In conclusion, I definitely believe that even though I struggled with some of the aspects of production, I enjoyed the process as a whole, especially learning all the new information, how to use the lighting, different camera angles, incorporating that into the film. We definitely had a lot of improvement from our previous attempts, and I'm proud of that. And me personally, I think this film would definitely do well on Netflix. Well, we think it would be a film, although it could also be like a short series. Um, most of the film, not most, some of the films in Netflix get really popular, like murder mystery series and the Knives Out movies, which me personally I enjoyed all four of those movies, and they're very popular too. And they have some really popular actors in there. Thank you.